subject area I hear a lot about questions is language and how we teach language at Butler Montessori. It definitely has a foundation in the primary program. I mean, I'd be remiss to say that the primary teachers are really true language experts in the development of the writing ability of the child. They talk about storytelling all the time. They read stories to the children all the time, get their imaginations going, get their ability to communicate, talk. And then eventually they get into reading development, which is something that we spend a lot of time doing, especially with the first plane of development, but also in the elementary, in the lower elementary. I think our albums are written specifically to teach language in a certain way that might be different from other schools. But I know that the primary teachers have a major part in the role of language development here.
Language is divided in all of Montessori, into basically 4 big parts. There's the reading, there's the mechanics of writing and then what is written, there is spoken language, and there's grammar and syntax. And all 4 of those begin in primary. And so the cool thing is if you have a child go from age 3, 4, 5 through the primary program, they'll come into elementary already knowing a good deal about language. There are exercises that increase their hand strength and give them a specific grip so that when they start using pencil, they know how to hold it correctly. And there is early grammar that happens in primary. They learn about the noun and the verb and early sentence analysis in primary. So if they've had those full 3 years in the primary classroom, they come to us already having a good basis in that language. And same thing with spoken language. They start doing little songs and storytelling and little presentations and performances in primary here. And reading. They mostly learn to read in primary. So most of the children who come to us are already proficient readers. And then we take all of those skills that they get in primary and help them hone them in a way that is a little more unique to the elementary child. It's not just about the basic mechanics, but about what you can do with them after you have those abilities.
I totally agree. I see that the children come into the classroom ready to write. They're excited about language. They're excited about reading. They love to write stories. I couldn't tell you how many stories the children write on a daily basis. It really helps me to watch them write so I can see their mechanics. I can see their cursive. We value cursive here. All the children should have, really beautiful handwriting coming into the elementary program. That helps so much down the road when they're doing reports, when they're researching. They can write really well, really legibly. It also helps them to create spelling patterns that we found through research, like spelling increases because you're connecting letters with cursive. I think a lot of brain scientists have come to that conclusion. That's something that we used to learn in grade school, and Montessori definitely values that.
That's true in reading too, because reading starts with phonograms. Reading starts with what the word sound, what the base root of the sound is, and
Absolutely.
And it's not about guessing, right? It's not looking at a picture and guessing what the book's going to be about. It's actually looking at the word and sounding your way through it based on all of this knowledge of practice of phonograms that have come before it. And that's important.
And then you can imagine taking a child with this writing skill, with this love of reading, and we can use that to create even more language understanding. We talked about sentence analysis. They're able to break down sentences into their grammatical parts. They're able to use that to construct paragraphs that make sense, right? When they try to create arguments, they're trying to describe something, they're trying to just inform us of different things. There's all different forms of writing style, and eventually it'll lead to, I think, a child who's basically ready to take on, all parts of speech. They can read high-level texts. They can ask critical questions. They can come to some type of comprehension when they read. Like, these are higher-level concepts that we're able to still work with first, second, and third grade children, like the lower elementary age child, on because of the prevalence of reading in the lower primary ages and working our way up into the lower elementary.
We also read aloud to them often. So there's a love of, and we tell stories, right? There's a lot of spoken language that happens. When they do work that they're proud of, they will present it to the whole class. If they're especially excited about it, they'll go to other classes and present to other classes as well. And then we also present. We write our own stories as Montessori guides. That's a big part of it is finding what's valuable, what's important, and sharing stories about it to pique interest and sharing books, right? I mean, we read our favorite literature, right, to the students, and they get really invested in those stories, and that becomes a big part of the culture of the classroom is the storytelling.